former beauty contestant.
She's lost her mind. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a god.
Anybody you spoke to who knew Lori back then said that she was like the mother of the year.
So what makes her a danger to herself and to others?
Threaten me, murder me, kill me.
We're gathering together as saints, as brothers and sisters, and preparing for the second coming of Christ.
She threatened to murder you?
Yes.
6 months later, Vallow was shot and killed.
Police say they found a man with gunshot wound who was later pronounced dead.
The first death that kicked off this multi-state mystery.
Inside is Lori Vallow's husband, dead on the living room floor.
What happened today? How did it get to this?
She said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
So how does she pose a threat to your children?
Lori, where are your kids? No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
Now, Lori Daybell appears to be somebody else. She has 2 missing children, JJ Vallow, Tylee Ryan.
I don't know what she's going to do with them. I don't know if she's going to flee with them. She's going to hurt them.
All right, is it this house or the one with the flashing lights?
Right there.
Just use the word of the Lord because they go to hell for sure.
Cars are all gone. I don't know where my kids are.
Well,
Get in. Oh my God.
It all started on January 31st, 2019, when Charles Vallow was still alive and had just returned from a business trip to find he was locked out of his own house, with no sign of his wife, Lori, or his kids, JJ and Tylee. His car had also gone missing, and a large sum of cash had been withdrawn from his bank account. So in an effort to get some answers, he called 911.
so what's going on tonight?
I can't get in touch with my kids.
How old are your kids?
6.5 and 16. She's lost her mind. I don't know how else to say it. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a
Sounds like
a god,
he just can't
and
anymore.
with 144,000. She's come. Jesus is coming next year.
So what makes her a danger to herself and to others?
Threatened me, murder me, kill me.
She threatened to murder you?
Yes. She said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
Is this just all recent, or has it been going on?
Been going on for about 4 or 5 years. It's gotten really, really bad lately. She goes to the temple
He's
every day,
schizophrenic or
speaks in
something?
409 Jesus Christ. Last couple of days, she says, "I'm not Charles. You're not Charles. You're Nick Schneider."
According to Lori,
Oh, flashback.
Nick
Sorry, guys.
Schneider
My
is
eyes.
an evil spirit who has possessed Charles' body, and he believed these threats against his life were very real. In the last few years, she had become obsessed with the teachings of a man named Chad Daybell, a
There's some
man
cult
well known
shit.
for writing dogmatically and teaching his thoughts about the end of days, the second coming of Christ, and other more unique concepts
Gotta be
like
some cult
evil
shit.
spirits and zombies. Both Chad and Lori were also members of Preparing a People, a cult who were preparing for the second
Got it.
coming of Jesus Christ and the end of the world as we know it. Lori also believed she was a member of the 144,000, a group of high
shit.
priests who will administer the everlasting gospel to the world in its last days. She also believed
Oh,
that
sorry,
every
guys, missed
human
me.
was on a scale between light and dark, and the darker one's spirit was, the more dangerous they were to her and her beliefs. Lori had actually become so involved in this new religious belief that Charles had become concerned not only for himself, but his 2 children as well.
She said to me, "Charles' stuff is gone. You're not Charles. Your stuff is gone." I don't know what that
And
means.
how long have you been trying to get in touch with the kids?
Since yesterday.
So how does she pose a threat to your children?
I don't know what she's going to do with them. I don't know if she's
He's
gonna
literally just
flee with them.
said.
She's going to hurt them. And today she said, "Come take the kids. I don't care what happens to them." I just
How
wanna
how
see my
might she
boys
be
okay,
a
and she's gonna
threat to
pick 'em.
my to your children? She literally threatened him. I think that's enough, right? That is enough.
Order.
A pickup order can be obtained after one parent fails to deliver a child to another parent. As Charles has not heard from his kids in days, he felt he had no choice but to take action.
I'm a Christian, and people say those things are not Christian because Jesus only knows when he will come. Like, bro, also Jesus said you don't need to be to worry about when I'm coming, as people don't read the Bible. There's just so much cult shit out there. There's so much cult shit. It doesn't even need to be like solely Christian. There's so much out there. It's not even like a religious thing. It's a control thing. Like people just like having control over people and having control over their lives, and it's fucking cults are crazy.
The cops then helped Charles get back in the house, but it was too late.
Also, I apologize, Di, if I do end up saying like "oh shit" or "oh lordy" or "oh god." That's just part of my everyday language. It's just an expression. But I'm sure you're fine with it because you haven't said anything about it before. So.
Lori and the kids were gone. The very next morning, Charles called 911 again, this time directing them to a hotel in Gilbert, Arizona, where he believed Lori was hiding out with JJ and Ty Lee. This time, though, Charles had managed to obtain an emergency mental health petition.
You're not bothered by it. That's
Lori
good.
to check into a mental health institution and undergo assessment.
We are followers of the Ebony cult here.
Why is she here and you're not?
That is true, guys. I do say cults are crazy, but technically I do have my own cult. Technically, though, I didn't even set that up. Technically, that's all you guys. that's all you guys. That was Rizzle, Japan, and Jangles. That was all of you three. You three were like, hell yeah, cult, let's go. And then anybody else has just been dragged into it.
You staying here with her?
We fell for it.
Long story. She's had kind of a break from me already. I've tried to support her as much as I could, but it's gotten really, really bad lately. She's had a break. She says, I'm Nick Schneider. I've taken over Charles's body, and Charles has been killed. I'm going to kill you.
Our cult is the correct one for
Charles
sure.
had already tried to find Lori earlier that morning by turning up at JJ's school, but despite seeing her car in the parking lot, there was no sign of her at all. However, she had left her purse in the car, so Charles took it in hopes that it would stop her from getting away. This worked perfectly, as she walked into the Gilbert police station later this same morning to report her missing purse. But her version of events was much different.
So this morning when I took my son to school, like he was waiting somewhere and like stole my purse out of the car, my whole purse. So my phone, my wallet, my money, my everything was in there.
What is it like that motivates him doing this kind of stuff? Did he say why?
I caught him cheating and I had evidence and I told him about it, and he travels a lot for business, so I told him about it and told him not to come home and that his stuff would be gone and that his car would be gone and all this thing. So he's a little mad.
She claimed that she'd caught Charles having an affair and told him not to come home, locking him out of the house and taking his car. The first of many carefully fabricated lies that would not only ruin Charles's life, but end it. Police informed Charles that he can't steal Lori's property no matter what the motive. A deal was then formed between them saying that if Charles returned her purse, then the police would immediately follow up with the mental health petition. But eventually it went through and Lori underwent her assessment. However, in 2 hours, Lori was released with the doctors finding no issue.
See, I wouldn't even say she's schizophrenic. She doesn't even look schizophrenic. She's acting extremely fucking normal. Like this is kind of like throwing me off. You know? She's got to have like, I feel like she is definitely part of a cult, because that does affect your mental kind of stability. So that probably is something going on in her brain, but I don't think she's schizophrenic. I think I don't know. Throwing me off there.
At all. This decision sentenced Charles to death and put his kids' lives in jeopardy. Charles filed for divorce, and 6 months later,
why did she kill her own
his body
kids
was found
though?
at Lori's house with 2 gunshot wounds across his body.
Oh,
the fate
bless.
of his children was now in the hands of their delusional and
She's
dangerous
got to have killed
mother.
her kids, surely.
We got one subject down, apparent gunshot wounds to the chest. He's right here in the living room. Firearm's gonna be in the front door, in the front bedroom, laying on the ground next to a case. You wanna stay in here? I'll see if I get this guy's info.
When Charles's body was found, an investigation determined the shooter to be Alex Cox, a man who just so happened to be the brother of Lori Vallow.
What's going on? What happened?
Wait, he was determined to be the shooter, so she apparently didn't even do it? She got her brother to do it? No, poor guy didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves to be fucking shot and killed. Actually, there is some there are some people who deserve it.
Okay. Was he living here or visiting?
He came to pick up his son.
Okay, is the son inside?
No. My sister took him to school.
Okay, so it was just you at the house?
Yes.
And he came, how long, what time did he come to pick up?
Okay, so that
pick up
he
the
hit him
son?
on the back of the head with a bat, apparently, and then he shot and killed
Okay,
him.
So, you know who he is, let him in?
Bit excessive, don't you think?
No, I think they were talking earlier, then she left, and then he got into it with me.
Like what? What do you mean?
I don't know, he was...
Alex seems very vague in his answers and says he can't remember exactly what happened, other than the pair simply got into a fight. But those kinds of answers aren't going to satisfy the cops, especially when there's a dead man involved.
So you both, so you get in an argument? What is it over?
Well, it was over my sister. He was getting physical with her, and so my niece came out with her bat, and then he took the bat away from her.
Wait a minute, I thought you said your niece left.
She did. This was before.
So before your sister and your niece left,
yeah.
At some point your sister and her husband are arguing,
yes,
verbal argument, and then your niece pulls out a bat.
Well, it wasn't verbal. He was getting close, and she came out to defend my sister with her bat.
Yep, you don't know that. Maybe she was coming out to protect him. You don't fucking know that. Oh lordy, in the ground and shoots him. Yeah, for real,
Your
for
niece.
real, for real.
Yes.
Okay.
And then she poked at him, and he took it away.
I don't believe that.
And then he's coming back at me, and he still got the bat in his hand. Like, what are you doing?
And where are you at it? Where are you both
in the
at?
living room.
Okay.
And then I turned around, and he hit me in the back of the head with the bat. I went to my room and got my gun.
So you went to your room, meaning the room you're staying in?
Yeah.
Okay, and you brought a gun with you?
Yes.
Do you always
Yes.
bring a gun? Okay, why didn't you stay just in your bedroom, close the door?
For
Is that
real.
something you didn't think about, or?
Didn't even occur to me.
This fight.
Okay, I hate people who do this, okay? You always have a chance to just walk away and just drop something, you know? Like, not gonna lie, and like in the last couple of months, there's been people who've been trying to start something with me, and I'm just like, I just ignore it and I just move on with my day because I'm like, this is genuinely just not fucking worth it. Like, just walk away. Like, just you know, like, I'm like, it's so much more fucking drama that just nobody needs, you know? And like, so most of the time it isn't anything physical, guys. It's just like online arguments and shit and people trying to start stuff. And I'm like, I just ignore it. Like, what's the fucking point? What's the point? Good job. Thank you. I just don't understand people who like rise to it and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking like fucking murder you, or like I'm gonna like fucking punch your lights out or something. I just don't get people who are like that. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think maybe that's because I just like my peace, and I also just hate having arguments. Arguments make me cry, guys. I haven't had a proper argument in a very, 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 very long time. For me, I just call them out on Twitter. I don't even do that. Very, very, very rarely do I call anybody out. The only person that I'll call out for shit is Wham. But I'm in a relationship with him, and half the time it is just like genuinely just a conversation. It's not even an argument, it's just a conversation. That's the only person I'll actually call out for something if they've done something wrong. Or if something's upset me, you know? I never like go full guns blaring at somebody and have a full-blown argument. I just never do
Final
that.
statement should actually have torn down Alex's entire argument, as it technically proves this wasn't self-defense at all. When Alex went to his room to grab his gun, he should have been able to usher his family inside, close the door, and stand his ground from there. Instead, he grabbed his gun and without a second thought, ran straight up to Charles and shot him. But at this point, there were still so many looming questions. The cops decided to bring in all...
Do we think that he actually shot her? Shot him, I mean. I don't think he shot. I don't think he did any shit. I think it was her. And he's just trying to cover up for her. Or maybe not. Surely they'd be able to find some like gunpowder residue or something, right? Some residue on his clothes or something, or on his hands. Maybe.
Parties back for an interrogation to try and get to the bottom of it all and figure out exactly what happened to Charles.
Start where you think it makes the most sense.
Okay, so we moved into this house 3 weeks ago because he offered to get me a house here where all my family is over in Houston. We had decided to separate or whatever, so he's like, well, I'll pay for a house for you and for JJ and whatever, because he's all about JJ. He's never about Tylee, but he's all about JJ.
Does she know that he's dead at this point? Because if she does, this is cold. I don't feel any kind of sad emotion from her whatsoever. Has she been told, guys? Has she been told that he's dead? I don't know.
Because we adopted him together. He's his great nephew. We adopted him as a baby. He came when we first moved in and brought me stuff from Houston, like a U-Haul, and then he hasn't been back. But it's all these threats on my phone all the time, you know, like whatever, all these things. And then he told me, what kind of threats?
Does he smell like he fire a gun?
Right
Yeah, so they can like take swabs of like people's hands and stuff to see if there's any residue on them, as far as I'm aware. And also like your clothes will potentially have some on it. So I would be like, we need to take what you have like on right now for evidence. You know? Oh my gosh. I've also seen so many cases where it's like the police will kind of just like fuck up and they'll let them go to the toilet and nobody will be with them or anything. And they let them like wash their hands and stuff like right after a crime. And I'm like, bro, there could be potential evidence on their hands right now and you're just letting them wash their hands. That's also crazy. Also in the house. Yeah. Yeah. But then like obviously they know that that is the scene of the crime. So of course there's going to be like residue on the floor somewhere, right? Or like on the walls or something. I don't know. But I guess that it was his gun, but she could have used it. But also, if it is his gun, is it still there? And are her fingerprints on it? Or is it just his? I don't know.
And he doesn't want a divorce, but I don't like him and don't want to deal with him, so that's just how it is. Like, so we married for 14 years, we dealt with it for 14 years, of him being horrible to her. Like, he gets in huge fights with her, a lot of things, but anyway.
Immediately, Lori describes Charles as a man with violent tendencies who had a history of aggression against the women he had married. If she can convince detectives that Charles had a temper, it would make their version of events even more plausible.
So he went back to the Houston house, and he's like, I'm coming on Wednesday night, and I'm going to come pick up JJ and take him to school Thursday, pick him up Thursday, take him Friday, whatever. And I said, Casey wanted to come to the house, and I said, you can't come stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee. She's a minor, and she has to live here. Yeah. So, because he gets in huge fights up there. Okay. And she hates him. And so, like, you can't stay at the house, so I will book you a hotel, because he stays in hotels all the time because he travels for business, and the business pays for it. What does he do? He works with teachers in their retirement plans, but he goes to them, but he mostly works in California. Okay. He has like books of business in different areas, and so he just goes wherever. Okay. It kind of just gives him freedom that he doesn't have to stay home every day and take care of special needs. Yeah. It's like an excuse, right? We came over.
Basically. California, where I live. Well, I hope you never came into contact with these people. Did you know about this case? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe you did. I don't know how much people keep in the loop of crimes going on in that area. I have no idea.
In the morning, and he's like banging on the door. I'm like, oh great, here we go, you know. And then JJ was like, oh, Dad. And then he was like, Mommy, and like ran to me and was like holding me. He's like, you're not taking me to school.
Nope, I'm always on YouTube and anime and gaming, so
you know, just trying to make it.
This was many years ago, so
calm.
Like what was it, like 10 years ago or something?
He was just being real
something like that.
smirky and real like jerky, you know, to me, and I was like ignoring him, whatever. And so he was like, your brother lives there with you? No, okay. He had stayed with me last night because I was worried he was gonna come over and cause trouble.
Wait, have they revisited the case before when he kind of was like, I can't find my children, was locked outside of his house? Have they rediscovered that now? Are they gonna address that and be like, yo, you're dead, husband? Yeah, like this happened like X amount of time ago, you know? And it says that you're fucking crazy. Pretty much.
I just wanted someone else there, like my brother there, because I trust my brother.
They would claim self-defense as the reason Charles was killed. And as the cops continue to question Lori, they start to believe this even more.
Oh, you're kidding, right?
He's gone nuts on us a lot of times. Tyler and I have had to leave with JJ over the years, probably 5 times, and just stay in a hotel for 2 days because You don't know what's gonna set him off. Like,
Where's the
she's
proof?
mad at me for always like,
Show me the proof.
going back. But we had JJ and he's special needs, and it's really hard. Like, it's even hard to take care of by yourself.
So you thought.
I'm just suspicious of her. Like, I know that obviously she did it, but like, if I was sat in that room, she looks too composed, and she looks like she's kind of ever so slightly over-explaining. I don't know. But I would also be like, yeah, you said that you went to a hotel like X amount of times to like protect your children and stuff. But I'd be like, where's the receipts? Like, surely you gotta have like proof that did happen and it did go away. You know? I don't know. Personally, I don't know if I would completely believe her. And also, at the same time, majority of the time in like cases like this, it is 90% of the time the spouse that's done it. I see either she got a brother to do it for her, or she did it for her, or she did it herself and then got him to kind of cover it up and help her, just to kind of maybe protect like his like niece and nephew or something. I don't fucking know.
And
I don't
want
know.
to put words in your mouth, but you thought it was possible that he was going to hurt you.
Absolutely, he was gonna hurt me and Tylee.
Okay.
Not JJ. He would never hurt JJ.
Okay.
And he hurt my brother. Like, he was going like ballistic about. It was bad.
Okay.
An angry husband losing his temper during a divorce is not uncommon, and feuding couples often come to blows, making her story more and more convincing. But according to Charles's ex-wife Cheryl, this was not the man she knew. She says they were married and divorced, and not one time, not 1 second, was he ever physically threatening to me, directly contradicting what Lori is saying.
You say he goes nuts. That can mean a lot of different things.
Right.
So, like, physical violence.
He's never really, besides like grabbing us and pushing us, but not like punching us or something. But with Tylee, he has gotten physical.
Okay.
He went like he was going to hit her, but then I got in between them.
So this morning he comes back in and...
He comes back in, I won't give him his phone. He was screaming at me to give him his phone. He was very worried about whatever was on his text that he did not want me to see. And so I was just holding it there, and he was screaming at me. And so Tylee came out of her room upset, and she had a bat, and she told him to leave her mother alone, like, right? So she was really whatever, and he's screaming at her, "Don't you hit me with that bat," blah, 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 blah. And then my brother heard all the commotion because he was in there, and so he came out into the main room, and he's yelling at Tylee, "Don't you hit me with that bat," and blah, blah, blah. And so Tylee, I guess, I don't know if she swung at him or what, but he like grabbed the bat from Tylee and then went to like hit Tylee with the bat. It was, and I was right there, they were right there, and my brother grabbed him from behind, like just to stop him from hitting Tylee. They got into the thing, and he's hitting him with the bat, and they're on the ground, like grappling around or whatever. And then,
and he hit your brother with the bat while they were grappling and stuff.
Like a lot of bullshit. I agree.
Yes.
But there are lingering questions left by the investigation. One such example being that the autopsy ruled one of the gunshots impacted while Charles was on the ground. Imagine
literally just like on the ground and just shot him like that. That's overkill. But also, she obviously evidently surely knows that he's actually dead, right? And that he was shot. I really don't understand how she could just be like, "Okay, kids, off we go to school." Because she literally, apparently, like, at the beginning, like, the brother said that, oh, yeah, like, she took, like, her kids to school, right? That is what she said, right? I just don't understand how you could do something like that and then just be like, okay, let's just go to school. Did they even actually go to the school? Maybe they didn't.
being in a situation where you have
Maybe
choice
maybe the people who's gonna crack this case open is actually fucking the kids.
but to shoot someone. You'd probably freeze up, and you'd do anything you could to avoid anything but incapacitating them, instead of finishing the job. So it seems strange that Alex decided to shoot Charles a second time when he was already flat on the ground. Furthermore, it also seems strange that it would take almost 45 minutes for anyone to call 911. Although she claims it was down to shock, this is conveniently just enough time to concoct an alternative version of events.
And their stories match up as well. Like,
solid story to give to the police.
Okay, so you hear the argument, you step out, what's the first thing that you see?
Charles chasing after Lori Neal.
Okay. Had Tyler already gotten the bat? Did he already have the bat? Okay. So Charles is coming towards Lori.
He's
coming
coming towards
your way.
Lori, and I shoved him back.
Okay.
I said, "What are you doing?" Because he's coming.
What are
at
you
her
doing?
aggressively.
Okay.
He's a big dude, so I wasn't gonna.
So he's coming at her.
Yeah.
And you shoved him back.
Yeah.
What happened right after that?
So I went into the bedroom where he was staying and grabbed my gun. And I came back. I said, "Put that bat down." He's like, "What are you gonna do?" So you're gonna threaten me? I was like, "No, I'm just gonna defend myself." So.
Bullshit. I mean, you guys can barely even see him, but just the way that he's acting. Oh my lord. I'm like, brother. And also just the way that he's like, just like nonchalantly, like, just like fucking talking about it and is like, oh, this is what happened. Yada, 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 yada. I don't believe it.
Put that bat down. And he goes, "What are you gonna do it like that?" And he came at me.
Okay.
And he'd already hit me in the head.
So you gave him, how many times would you say you told him to, like, put the bat down?
Once.
Eventually,
Okay.
once you keep telling a story over and over and over again, either you'll start to miss stuff out or you'll add stuff to it. Sometimes the things that you add to it become less believable than before. You're like, oh yes, this actually happened. But half the time that's because somebody's revealed something and then you're trying to cover that up with another lie. But usually I'm actually kind of shocked that Lori or whatever the fuck her fucking shitty fucking name was actually managed to like actually keep her story, by the sounds of it, pretty fucking straight to as to what he originally said when he was sat on that curb, you know, with the police. Mrs. Stream, I don't have vents, neither do I, but check your vents. If not that, then check your walls, check your attics. Maybe even check your downstairs cupboards. I'll freaking know. Check under the stairs.
And then he started advancing towards you.
Yes.
From a shot.
How you doing, Pico?
Couple.
One of Lori's friends later reported that Lori
Check
had
for what
said,
though? Okay, so at the beginning of this video, of this stream, we were watching a case of a guy who beat a girl to death. And then his friend hid him in the vents, into the vent. So check your vent. But also maybe check those around you because they might be hiding somebody.
Alex believed her theories about Charles being possessed by evil, and the reason he was at the house at the time of death is simple. He believed Charles was going to try and kill Lori and moved in with her to help keep her safe.
I didn't see the shot, I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground. Okay. And it was freaking out. Yeah. And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mom mode. I'm like, I've got to go to JJ to school, I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. Mm-hmm. And so I just went outside and...
I'm sorry, but if he actually ever genuinely, like, would hurt his children, surely you would report it, right? Like, if at school kids, you would get away. And there's obviously, like, it's just like, this is so annoying. And also, surely there's no actual police record of any of this actually happening. Like, she claims that he would, like, abuse her daughter and stuff. And abuse, like, her. But then, like, apparently he wouldn't actually, like, raise a hand at her, but would push her and stuff. Surely if it was actual assault, she would have, like, done something. And if she genuinely feared for her life, she would have got out. Or at least reported it as well. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Okay, I didn't want them coming back in the house.
Maybe some people are just stupid. I don't know.
And Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened. And I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school. Mm-hmm. And I just left. I mean, I didn't say anything. I went out with the kids just to check on them first, and I was going to come back in maybe, but I didn't. I was like, I just have to get him to school. Okay. And call the police, come back, you know.
Say anything at some point about calling the police or calling 911? Do you remember?
Yeah, he called me.
Okay.
And he said,
yeah, why did she take her kids to school? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we need to call the police. And he said, okay.
Okay. So he called you when you didn't come back inside, basically?
Right. Okay. Because I was like in the car for a minute, and then I was like,
what do I do?
It looks on the surface that an enraged Charles stormed the house and started shouting at Lori. Alex decided to intervene, fearing for his sister's life, but what started as a disagreement quickly turned into a fight, one that would end with Charles lying cold on the ground. And Ty Lee seems to back up what Lori and Alex said when she tells her version of events.
I opened the door and it was my stepdad, and he was just screaming at both of them, and so I just kind of stuck the baseball bat out there, and then he just grabbed it, and so I fell to the ground, and then my uncle I saw him take a step back, so my uncle, I think, grabbed him and kind of took him back so he couldn't, do anything, and so my mom said to go with JJ, and so I ran out the door, and then I kind of just stood there, and then eventually my mom came out, and then I heard a noise, which I know what it was now, but it sounded like someone took it and hit it really hard against the floor. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that my stepdad didn't do anything to my uncle and stuff. And so she was like, no, I was fine, we're just gonna take JJ to school, and I was like, okay.
Despite Charles's lack of a violent history and how many times Alex nearly slipped up on scene, Lori's story, coupled with Ty Lee's perspective, was enough for detectives to officially rule this as self-defense. But the death of Charles Vallow was just the tip of the iceberg.
Sounds like someone got payoff. Thing is, I would want to believe her, personally. But at the same time, if she doesn't like her stepdad and she wants her mum to not go to fucking prison or something, or even her uncle, I don't know, it's so hard to actually decipher what's going on. It just feels so deeply rooted and very, very disguised. And the thing is, she is old enough to be told, hey, don't say this and go with this story. She is old enough to not slip up on that. Well, she could still. Anybody can slip up on it, but it's
And investigators quickly discovered that Lori had become entangled
This looks like a cult mind map, but it's not.
in the world of a seedy cult that would turn this
Bro, that's crazy.
seemingly perfect mom into a stone-cold killer.
Lori, Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your
Oh yeah, I forgot our kids went missing.
kids? No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for you.
Wait, shit, wait. I don't know.
Your children praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
That's great.
Just days after Charles's death, Lori decided it was time for a change and moved the entire family across the country to Rexburg, Idaho. A strange choice at first, until you realize that this was the hometown of Chad Daybell, and Lori was
Did she just put her own children into the cut?
now
Oh,
living
that's
minutes
fucked
away
up.
from a man who had not only convinced her that her husband was evil, but was now beginning to spin the same evil stories for her kids as well.
Plot fucking twist. Holy shit
But this
balls.
is when detectives met Melanie, Lori's best friend and another member of her cult. She was there to spill all the sordid details on their ideology and the beliefs that could soon lead to the death of Lori's kids.
Chad had said that it's some childhood friend that Charles had, and that he died, and then he came back as he didn't ever leave. He was an unclean spirit that got trapped on the earth, and he was now attached to him for years, and he'd been studying him, right, and his behaviors and stuff like that. And so then he pushed his spirit out of the body and took over. That's what he said.
Push Chad, Charles' spirit.
Yeah, so his spirit now moved on. So she believed that Charles was gone. He was already gone. So she was treating him like he was Zack Snyder.
This is all extremely confusing, but simultaneously eye-opening, as it gives us a direct window into what Lori believed about her own family. Apparently, she thought.
Wait, does this Melanie person actually still believe of the cult's teachings, though? Because she seems pretty, I don't know. I don't know.
Charles was possessed by a dark spirit, and by that point, he was already gone. The problem is, she thought the same for her children. Charles had
Wait, let me go back. What did that say?
Family. Apparently, she thought Charles was possessed by a dark spirit, and by
Okay,
that
okay.
point, he was already gone. The
Okay,
problem
okay.
is, she thought the same for her children. Charles had corrupted them, and they'd turn into zombies.
So you mentioned
Wait, so the girl that we saw in the interrogation that was like, yeah, I grabbed the bat and my uncle like dragged him back and stuff, and I heard like a big bang. She is now missing. I reckon the mum must have fucking forced her to say something along those lines. Surely. I don't know. Maybe she just never thought it would like happen to her. I don't fucking know. This is crazy.
Was that ever a term that you were exposed to by them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell me more about the zombie.
She said she had a dream once, an earthquake happened in Utah. People that fell on the earth, if they were able to get rid of all the zombies in the world, then those
I'm sorry, but Laurie's also the name of that character from Walking Dead, right?
zombies
Sorry.
won't get into dead bodies, they come back. I remember one time she took a map and she's like, okay, here's the United States. We're gonna do a prayer. Let's find out how many zombies are in Arizona. Okay, there's 20,000. I don't even remember the numbers, it was saw out there. And then she'd say a little prayer, whatever words she'd come up with that she thought were powerful. And then he would check, oh, somebody died. Look, you can come find out. So then that was her way. In my opinion, you know, what I saw, at least, was just through a prayer that these people would pass away.
Laurie believed that if the Earth was to truly be pure, all the zombies had to be killed. Chad also began to feed Laurie more and more fantastical lies about how the world worked, including ascension, translation, and the ability to meet with God himself.
And then they had a scale of 0 to 100% how much you could trust people. I was supposed to be like 97%. They were always building me up. Anyway, she would sometimes share like, oh, this person or that person, that's not trustworthy, it's this person, and that was their booking.
How about, maybe you know or don't know, vibrations?
So vibrations, yes, I'm aware of that too. So according to how he would check, he used that little pendulum thing a lot. I didn't know that in the beginning, but anyway.
This is some spirity stuff,
you
right?
got to 1,000, that means you're translated, or you're beginning your translation. And then as you get higher in your vibration, you could portal at some point, maybe, I don't remember what she would say, 2,500 maybe, or something like that. And so the more you went to the temple, your vibration would increase. So it's just like your light would increase, your vibration, that kind of idea. If that makes sense.
Laurie had become convinced she could speak to Jesus and appeared to be consumed by Chad's work. Not long after, their relationship began to heat up, and they even started a religious podcast together.
Okay, so that fucking what what the fuck?
That showed,
my
frankly,
lord.
just how insane she had become.
I too have seen the resurrected Jesus Christ, and he has told me my mission, and he has sent me to help people and lift them in their missions.
Over time, Laurie had become more outspoken with her beliefs of zombies and began to tell her friends about how many people had been consumed by evil spirits and demons. Laurie then started telling her friends that her son JJ's behavior had changed, and that he had started telling her he loved Satan, as well as becoming more disruptive in the home. Had police listened to Charles Vallow when he feared for JJ and Tylee's lives, then they could have prevented the series of tragic events that followed. Only days after moving to Rexburg, Laurie, Alex, JJ, and Tylee visited Yellowstone Park. This was the last time anyone saw Tylee alive. Things became even stranger.
Fucking kidding. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Wait, is JJ still alive at this point, though?
2019, when JJ was spotted running into his Idaho home on a neighbor's door cam, never to be seen again.
Oh my
Months
God.
later, people started to realize that they hadn't heard from JJ in a long time, and Charles' parents called 911 to alert the police of his disappearance. Laurie was caught lying to officers on November 26th after they had made a welfare check on JJ. According to Laurie, her son was with her friend Melanie back in Arizona, but Melanie not only denied having him, but she also told police Laurie had asked her to lie and pretend to officers JJ was staying with her. Then, in December,
Melanie.
Alex died suddenly. His death was ruled as natural causes, but the amount of death and strange occurrences involving Lori was reaching impossible levels of coincidence. By this time, police were also extremely concerned for the welfare of JJ and Ty Lee, so Lori was served an order in January 2020 forcing her to prove that they are safe and well. However, the deadline came and went, and Lori was arrested 3 weeks later and placed on a bail of $5 million. But even after the arrest, both Lori and Chad remained silent and refused to give up any information on the kids. But finally, a further 5 months later, the police would get their answers when detectives initiated a search of Chad Daybell's property. There, they found the bodies of JJ and Ty Lee. JJ's body was found wrapped in duct tape and placed in a plastic bag, while Ty Lee had been dismembered and burned in a fire pit before being buried.
What the fuck? Damn, that video just ended very, very suddenly. Very, very suddenly. What the fuck?